welcome back if you're coming back, and welcome if you're new here. I'm Christine, and I'm the Saucy Seamstress. Today is not a sewing day, though. Today is a closer look day. After about a month and a half, or forever, it feels like, of looking at 1920s fashion and sewing, feel like it's time to move on. And so, let's move on to the 30s. I have, I think, two 1930s pieces, but we're only going to look at one today. And this is just going to be a really quick video because it's been crazy around here. The 1930s are an interesting period. It's kind of like this weird phase between like boxy short silhouettes and very angled, structured, but shorter silhouettes again, except for like evening wear. The 1930s, after the 20s, and it's sort of celebratory post-war euphoria. We get to the 30s, it's the Great Depression, and it's temperance, and things get rough, right? All around the world, things are getting crazy in the 30s. And so what we see is this return to more feminine silhouettes, longer torsos, natural waistlines, wider shoulders, narrower hips, and even a longer length skirt, with most skirts, even day dresses, going almost to the ankle. The hems of skirts would have a slight flare, and they were often cut on the bias, with most of the garment being cut on the bias. And so the bias is when, instead of cutting along the straight grain along the weave of the threads, we turn the fabric 45 degrees and use it that way. The fabric is allowed to then like pull and hang differently. And so these skirts and these dresses and these gowns were hugging parts of the body that clothing hadn't really been allowed to hug before. You could see women's bottoms and hip-hugging curves and things like that. Cutting on the bias creates a fluid, slinky, sometimes called form-hugging figure and silhouette. Now, there are several designers that were highly influential in the 30s, and I can't really show you the ones that I'm going to bring up today because their work is protected by copyright, and I didn't want to like download images and show them illegally. So I will mention that each of these designers have many pieces as part of the Met collection, which you can go look at for free if you just type into your little search engine, Met collection, and then into their search bar type Elsa Schiaparelli, Madeleine Vionnet, or Charles James. He was very influential toward the end of the 1930s and then kind of just like exploded in the 40s and 50s. Like I said, I can't show you any of their pieces or any of the pieces that I found online due to copyright. But anyway, they are gorgeous. We also have movies heavily influencing culture. People are looking for an escape from their daily lives, and it's very easy to plunk down a nickel and go see a film. For a 2-hour escape from the difficult or harshness of your daily life. And so we have people who are not only interested in the movie, but they're also interested in the actors that are portraying characters in the movie, in their personal lives, in their style, in a way that I don't think, it's always been a thing, right? We've always been interested in creative types, artists and actors and those types of things, but I don't think it was like this, this big until the 1930s. Starlets are influencing the fashion choices of everyday women. People like Bette Davis are in the minds of everyday women when they are choosing clothing for themselves. And the really cool thing is that you can go seek out films and watch the clothes move. These bias cut dresses, I just love to watch them move with the actor's body, as they walk, as they dance, and all of these because movies seemed to move faster in the 30s. People talked faster and they walked faster and they got the thing done and they did the dance number, so you can really watch how these garments draped and moved with the body. So, all that being said, let's get on to the piece I'm going to show you today. This is a silk satin wedding dress from 1933. My mother bought this from an elderly woman who was selling her wedding dress from 1952 and her mother's wedding dress from 1933, and so that's how I know the exact date of this piece. It is silk satin with lace trim on the neck and sleeves. The hem, there actually is no hem, but it ends in a technique called faggoting. Dress is cut entirely on the bias. It is a very simple design, essentially with a skirt cut on the bias and the bodice cut on the straight of grain. There are puffed sleeves and long lace sort of undersleeves. This also came with a headdress, same lace as the sleeve, trims with plastic beads and flowers. There was also a veil attached to it of net, which at some point had been cut away. Here we can see that the lace sleeve was finished with satin, the same satin as the gown. It does actually close at the wrist with a snap to keep that sleeve fitted and close to the arm. The lace ends where the puff begins here, and then we can also see the same finishing used on the lace at the neck. Almost all these seams are raw. Some of them are pinked and some of them are not. There are no closures on this gown. The waist is left a little bit larger than the belt, and then the belt cinches it in and keeps it close to the body. Belt buckle is metal with rhinestones, and as you can see there are some missing. This is an inside view of the sleeve. The puff is lined with net, but it's not to create the puff, it's not to hold out the fabric. It is straight down through against the arm. So this keeps the puff from pulling, or the lace sleeve from pulling. We can also see here where the skirt is attached to the bodice and the raw edges are pinked, and our other sleeve. Here you can see the pinked finish of a triangular piece that's been inserted to finish the front of the skirt. This wasn't even put in to the back. This was in the front, very front of the skirt to finish it off. And here we are at the back of the gown. This is almost a mirror image, except there are no gathers underneath the bust. And as you can see, this is one full panel. It is not pieced together. If you enjoyed this 1930s wedding gown tour, please hit that subscribe button and like this video. I upload every 2 weeks, and we'll see you next time. Bye!